What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Our Streamers Cheaters. Today we are going to be covering Fit Mr. Chicken 21 again. Some of you guys in the comments of the first video were saying that there wasn't enough really to say if he is or isn't cheating, so I decided to go and check out more of his footage, and lo and behold we found a couple of more clips which seem to be very suspicious. So if you do enjoy the video today, guys, be sure to hit that thumbs up, and why not give it a share, much appreciated. If you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at BadBoy Beaman. It's the best place for you guys to contact me about any streamers, no matter how big or small, if you believe they are cheating. Right, let's crack on with the video. As always, guys, we come across to the channel first. This is Fit Mr. Chicken 21. He has 670 followers now. So let's take a look at his video section and see whether or not he's actually deleted any footage since our last video 2 days ago of him. It would appear that some of the clips are still there. However, all his previous broadcasts seem to have been deleted. His most recent one was yesterday, which would have been after the first video we made of him. We aren't going to use any of these clips here. We actually have footage from one of his previous streams, which, as we can see here, have all been deleted. I wonder why he's deleted all his previous streams. Wonder why it's only yesterday's stream available to view. Let's take a look at some of the clips that we found from one of his streams from 2 days ago. Before we actually show footage that we found from one of his previous streams, we're going to show you a clip which was actually shared about this guy on Twitter. So that explains the poor quality of it, because Twitter videos are horrendous quality. However, what happens in this clip to me seems very suspicious. Even though it's the final circle here, it seems very suspicious. Let's give it a watch, then we'll go back and analyse it, as always. Okay, so that was the short clip that we've got. And we don't really need much more than that short clip to see that something isn't right. Okay, so we're going to pull it back now. Can I get a rewind? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to analyse it fully as we normally would, and we can tell from this, he's on his own, his other 3 teammates are dead. Also, there are 4 players left and 2 teams, which means it is him against 3, okay? So he's on his own against 3 players, he's got 17 kills already at this point. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the first video, his playstyle seems slightly off for somebody getting 17 kills or more, or for somebody getting 4 kills or more. His movement doesn't match up with his shooting ability and his game awareness, okay? So we'll point out that first, and now what we'll do is point how he is checking his heartbeat in that direction, that specific direction, and nothing shows up in the heartbeat. He then takes a look to his right. What was he looking at there? At that point there, what is he looking at? Because there's nothing there to look at unless he's looking through the roof with wall hacks. I think the only valid reason to be turning and looking in that direction at that point is if you have wall hacks and you can either see a player box or player skeleton through the wall there. And then he pops up here and ADS's at the window frame. So he aims down sight perfectly at the window frame. And when I say perfectly at the window frame, what I mean is when he actually strafes to his left now, his aim is perfectly on the enemy who is stood up here. And like I said, guys, the clip quality is awful, but you can clearly see the enemy there. You can clearly see throughout this there has been no markers showing up on the map. And you could clearly see him take a peek through the wall or the roof of the building at what appears to be checking the surrounding area. And then he aims down sight at the window frame, which then perfectly places his crosshair on the enemy as he peeks out to the left. So for me, the most sus part of that is when he aims down sight here and perfectly places his crosshair on the enemy. For me, that one is very suspicious, and there's no explanation for him peeking through the roof and also ADSing into the window frame and then hitting his crosshair on the enemy perfectly as he peeks out. It just seems too suspicious. His overall movement and ability within the game doesn't add up to somebody who can drop high kill games, okay? Let's go and take a look at some of the better quality footage that we've got from his previous streams now. Okay, so we got this part of one of his streams, and I'm just going to play it through now. This is on Rebirth Island, and as always, guys, we'll play it through and then analyze it afterwards. So you guys get to see it in full first, and then when we're explaining things, we can slow it down, stop it, pause it, and so on.
From Yeah, there's ulti. Anybody got rockets you drop?
I think I dropped some back here.
I got 5.
There.
Oh, there's some right here.
Yes.
Launcher rounds marked.
I got 5.
Yeah. Full
Bro,
now.
you need to get a kill with the rocket.
Downed him. Right there in the window.
Nice.
shooter.
One over there.
That one? The one there?
Oh, that guy's
Got it.
Oh,
One
shit.
right there.
Finish it.
That works.
Down, come down. Yep.
I'm gonna cover you.
Trophy system deployed. Gas is closing in.
Gotta move on. Into the safe
Are
zone.
they still
Wait,
tower?
pero mejor ponte que mis... I
Oh.
think they got... get out. Veo, mis 4 kills, veo que mis 4 kills han
How
sido
did that guy
de...
survive that
con
rocket?
sniper.
I'm not even sure whether or not I need to pull this back and analyse it because it's very obvious that things didn't seem right throughout that gameplay. But we will pull it back. We'll pull it back first of all to the start. What we've got to take into consideration now is there could have been a prior engagement. If you look here, 78 meters, there is like an enemy ping by one of his teammates. So we've got to take that into consideration. But look at the way in which he pre-aims this location now perfectly. He aims down sight there and then pulls it across to the right slightly. And that's exactly where the enemy head appears. There is no knowledge on the map of that enemy about to appear there. But the way in which he aims down sight and then moves it directly to where the enemy is about to appear seems suspicious to me. Let's continue watching.
Yeah, there's ulti. Anybody got rockets you drop?
I think I dropped some
I got
back
3
here.
rockets
I got 5.
there.
Oh, there's some right here.
Yes.
So what I'm taking from all this gameplay at the minute where he's looking around and looting is the type of player he is. Look at his crosshair placement. It's directed down at the roof. Almost as if he's paying attention through the roof to see if there's enemies down below. Even just then, we'll pull it back slightly again. Just at this part here, he aims down sight through this air vent. Yeah. What's he aiming down sight at there? He aims down sight and it's practically on a window over there. You can't see an enemy through the window, so he doesn't take a shot. However, that is a sign of wall hacks again. If you aim down sight through an object before even seeing whether or not there's an enemy behind it, something's not right. Although in this situation, we didn't see whether or not there was an enemy behind it. But the aiming down sight through objects such as window frames that we saw in the first clip is something that he seems to be doing repeatedly. Let's continue watching now. Again, it looks like his crosshair placement it's just sitting at the floor. This is a technique that people who have full aimbot on choose to use so that it doesn't lock onto enemies. If you have it placed at the ground, then your crosshair, if you have a small field of view with full aimbot in it, will not lock onto anybody. The other option is that he could be checking downward to see any player boxes or player skeletons if he is using wall hacks. It looks like he could have been tracking the enemy over there, and as you can see, his placement of his crosshair was pretty bad in that situation. He pulls it back, and it's a spray and pray, that one. There was no aim lock at all there. But this one is what really got to me, guys, okay? I'm going to pull it back again so we can watch it. He's killed that first guy. He had no eyes on that enemy. No eyes on that enemy. And just for reference as well, I'm going to whack my headset on. I want to see if his teammate calls him out. If you look, the green marker is on this top window where one of his teammates prior actually called out a team in there. He's already ADS in there at that enemy. He was going for that enemy there. Okay, the quality of the videos was 720p. But the way in which he aims down sight at that enemy to me is almost as if he could see him through the roof before he actually started to aim down sight. And even that last hit on the enemy as the enemy ran from right to left almost seemed to snap to the enemy. And we've got to remember, guys, that in the first one, I suggested that it's a possibility he could be toggling aimbot off and on in certain situations. And that to me then looked like it could have been a toggle aimbot where it snapped to the enemy so fast to kill him. Again, that's a prime example of the type of player he is. He was going for the res and fell off the roof.
That works.
Down, come down. Yep.
I'm gonna cover you.
Checks his heartbeat at that point. Goes to an open window where he can see pretty much the whole surrounding area outside. Checks his heartbeat again. And runs back up to the roof. Now this is the final nail in the coffin for me. Watch the minimap as well as what happens in the gameplay. No knowledge at all of any enemy on the minimap, okay?
I think they...
Look, aiming down sight already. Aiming down sight. And there's the enemy sitting on a roof who's not on any form of UAV because him or his teammates don't have one up. They haven't killed one of his teammates so that they're showing on the minimap. Anything like that, not happening. He should have absolutely zero knowledge of that enemy being on that roof at that time. However, he seems to aim down sight, pre-aiming that whole situation without any knowledge. I wonder how he's done that. And again, you see the aim, what looks like it snaps to the player and then bounces away. Okay. Also take into consideration, guys, that he's using keyboard and mouse. So there is no aim assist at all. He's using keyboard and mouse and it seems that his aim seems to keep snapping to enemies. Let me just reiterate as well, guys, that aim assist doesn't snap your aim to an enemy. It actually slows your aim down. But the fact is, you do not get aim assist on keyboard and mouse. And that looked like a little bit stronger than aim assist. And not to mention the fact that it looked like wall hacks as well. Let's watch that one back again. The whole situation here.
Oh, they still
Wait,
tower.
contact me. I think they got get out.
So in my opinion, that whole situation with the guy over on the roof there, the way in which he pre-aimed through the edge of the roof of prison, with no call-outs from his teammates, no UAV, he hadn't killed one of this guy's teammates to actually get that pop-up on the minimap where it shows their teammates' locations. And there's just absolutely no way that he could have predicted that guy to be there the way in which he did. Was it just a lucky guess? Or do you guys think something was sus about that? Let me know in the comments below. And guys, we've now got the next part of the game. The same game. And there are certain things that happen within this that I believe to show signs of wall hacks that don't actually include him shooting people, and we'll talk through it once we've watched it. So let's press play on this bad boy now.
Waypoint marked.
Yo, I downed someone over here by factory. I don't know where if he's... He most likely got res
Ring
though.
marker. The guy right there.
Been looked
Gas is
already.
closing in.
Look sharp.
Relocating the safe zone.
Okay. We got advantage, bro. From where I got sniper.
Right here.
Gas is moving.
Coordinates marked.
Let's head for the safe zone.
Enemy precision airstrike.
Oh,
Take
shit.
cover.
Uh-oh. Tengo que evitar las máquinas.
Found him?
Güey, tiene platinum en la pinche Pellington.
Shit!
Gas
Taking
inbound.
fire!
Safe zone relocated.
Tiene platinum en la Pellington.
Hit. Gas is closing in.
Oh!
Four targets
Down him.
remaining. Good
No,
work.
behind you.
No!
Behind you.
Team is MIA. It's up to you now.
Over here!
Taking
Okay,
fire!
okay. Nice, bro. You're so good. There's one more.
Solid work.
Okay, so in that last remaining part of that game, there was some more suspicious moments that I want to talk through now, although I'm sure a lot of you guys would have spotted the same things that I'm about to talk about now.
Waypoint marked.
First of all, what we've got is the fact that he checks over onto the roof over here. Okay, crouches down. This is the part that shows wall hacks to me. He knows that there was an enemy behind them two chimney stacks on that roof over there. But then he ducks down himself, loses eyesight on that enemy, and still decides to then walk out, almost as if he knew that enemy had dipped over the other side of the roof and disappeared, so that that enemy wasn't going to shoot at him. Okay, watch it again. He sees clear sight of the enemy, dips down there, and then decides to just walk out freely. Okay? Like he stopped caring about the guy behind them chimney stacks now, without any knowledge of whether or not that enemy is still there. Why would you do that unless you knew 100% that that enemy was gone? He actually sees the guy who's in this window here. But then when he peeks back, it does seem to snap. But we're checking for wall hacks at the moment, guys.
The guy right there.
Closing in. Relocating the safe zone.
Okay. We got advantage.
Checks his heartbeat again in a second.
Where? I got sniper.
Right here.
Doesn't get any knowledge of where that enemy is, by the way. It says a distance and that is all. Now he gets the knowledge. Pre-aiming a couple of windows here. There's an enemy airstrike coming in. Again, he has a little peek through that window then. It did seem slightly odd to me. Now, in this little situation here, guys, he hears gunshots in there, but he peeks the wall, pre-aims it, and then shoots. That, to me, seemed a little bit suspicious. Let's pull it back slightly and look at it. So as he's going past the window, he hears gunshots now. But here, checks his heartbeat. For what? A millisecond and nothing shows up on it? What information did he get in that short period of time from his heartbeat? What information is on his minimap here? He knows there was gunshots there, but again, guys, pre-aiming through the wall, then takes the shots on the enemy there. Does that not seem slightly strange to you? Once again, pre-aiming through a wall, almost as if he had knowledge of the enemy's position through that wall. It's the third time or fourth time now that we've actually seen him do that. And it just seems slightly odd. Okay, let's continue.
Safe zone relocated.
Tiene plátano en la Pellington.
Now he rotates around the back end of the building and comes up the steps to go in. Here now is almost like he stops and pauses for a second before going in. Once he pushes in, he pre-aims again. Yeah. Now, right at this point when he's already fully aimed down sight, you can see maybe a millimeter here of the enemy. That is all the knowledge he has of that enemy. He actually starts shooting before he's peeked out from behind the wall. Fair enough, pre-fire is okay. A lot of people do it. But in this situation, he had no knowledge of that enemy being right there. Okay, his teammates just died to an enemy, but his aim was so perfectly on point with this enemy here that it seems a little bit suspicious. But that's not the end of this situation either. He didn't even finish that enemy off, and he's already aiming at this one. As that first enemy ran away, he turns to this one here, like he knew he was there. Okay?
Taking fire.
And again there, although he does have knowledge on the map right now, and possible footsteps from that position, but the way in which his aim snaps away from the enemy once he's downed tells me that there is a toggle aimbot happening, almost like his aim should have been aiming at the floor there. But if aimbot was in use, it would lock onto the enemy position that you have it set to. Once you toggle it off, the aim would go back to its natural position. Now take into consideration the position in which his aim has been pointing at all the way through this game. He's had his crosshair placement pretty much directly at the floor throughout the gameplay. So watch this last kill again, and watch how it snaps to the floor. Did you see that? It's almost like it was locked onto the enemy until he was downed, and then the aim come away from the enemy and went back to its natural crosshair placement position. Well, there we have it, guys. Fit Mr. Chicken 21 again finds himself on this series What do you guys think of the clips that we've shown today? Do you believe any of them to be suspicious? Do you think some of them are and some of them aren't? Let me know in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up, and why not give the video a share as well? Much appreciated. If you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. If you want to support the channel further, hit that blue join button today and become a member of the Triple B fam. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at BadBoy Beaman. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace!